You've probably heard the famous proverb, "If you don't have bread, eat cake." This phrase is often attributed to Marie Antoinette. Marie Antoinette was the Queen of France and the wife of King Louis XVI. She is often associated with this quote, which supposedly shows her indifference to the suffering of the French people. The idea is that if people don't have the basic necessity of bread, suggesting they eat cake. The phrase "let them eat cake" first appeared in the writings of Jean-Jacques Rousseau in his book Confessions, which was written in the early 1760s when Marie Antoinette was just a child. France in the late 1700s was a place of great wealth and great inequality. The French Revolution, a major event that changed the world, started because of many social, economic, and political problems. What caused this big change, and what were its lasting effects? To understand the French Revolution, we need to look at the Ancien Regime. Under the king and his family, French society was divided into three groups. The first estate, clergy. The second estate, nobility. And the third estate, everyone else, from rich business people to poor farmers. The third estate made up about 98% of the population but paid most of the taxes and had little political power. Rich were very rich and the poor were very poor. Before the French Revolution, the French nobility lived in extraordinary wealth and luxury. The Palace of Versailles is perhaps the most famous symbol of the nobility's wealth. Built by King Louis XIV in the 17th century, it became the center of political power and the royal court. Versailles was adorned with gold, crystal chandeliers, and intricate tapestries. The Hall of Mirrors, with its 357 mirrors reflecting light from 17 windows, was a breathtaking display of wealth. Nobles enjoyed access to beautiful gardens, fountains, and private theaters for their entertainment. Beyond Versailles, many nobles owned grand chateaux, or country estates. These estates were often surrounded by vast lands, including manicured gardens, hunting grounds, and vineyards. For example, the Château de Chambord, built during the Renaissance, was a hunting lodge for King Francis, but later became a luxurious residence for the nobility. Nobles indulged in lavish banquets featuring multiple courses and exotic dishes. They wore elaborate clothing made from the finest materials, such as silk, velvet, and lace. Fashion was a key aspect of noble life, with intricate gowns for women and ornate suits for men, often adorned with jewels. The daily life of a noble was filled with leisure and luxury. They enjoyed activities like hunting, attending operas and ballets, and hosting salons where intellectuals and artists gathered. King Louis XVI and nobles enjoyed numerous privileges. They were exempt from many taxes and had special legal rights. They often held high-ranking positions in the military and government, securing their status and influence in society. Living conditions for the common people were harsh. Many peasants lived in small, overcrowded cottages with poor sanitation. Disease was rampant, and medical care was scarce. Life expectancy was low, and infant mortality rates were high. The stark contrast between the opulent lives of the wealthy and the struggles of the common people fueled resentment and anger. Political corruption and lack of representation were also major issues. The common people had little to no political power. The lavish lifestyle of the French monarchy drained the royal treasury. King Louis XVI and the kings before him spent a lot of money, putting France in financial trouble. Additionally, France had been involved in several expensive wars. The 7 Years' War, which was fought in Europe, America and India had already left France with a massive debt. To make matters worse, King Louis XVI decided to support the American colonies in their fight for independence from Britain, which further depleted the treasury. France's involvement in the American Revolutionary War from 1775 to 1783 was costly. Though it was successful in helping the Americans gain independence, it came at a great financial cost to France, adding to the already massive debt. Compounding these financial problems were poor harvests. In the late 1780s, the majority of the French population were peasants and commoners who lived in poverty. They faced heavy taxation while the clergy and nobility enjoyed numerous exemptions. This unfair tax system placed an immense burden on the Third Estate, which made up about 98% of the population. Bad harvests in the late 1780s led to severe food shortages. Prices for bread and other essentials skyrocketed, causing widespread hunger and desperation. Many families struggled to afford even basic necessities, leading to bread riots and protests across the country. In 1789, King Louis XVI faced a huge money problem. Facing a dire financial crisis and mounting public discontent, King Louis XVI and his advisors tried to find a solution. They proposed reforms to increase taxes and reduce privileges for the nobility and clergy, but these were met with strong resistance. He called together the Estates General, a big meeting with representatives from the three estates of France, the clergy, the nobility, and the commoners. This was the first time they had met in over 170 years. The Third Estate, which was about 98% of the population, was upset. They had little political power and paid most of the taxes. Even though they were the majority, they were often outvoted by the First and Second Estates, who had many privileges. Feeling ignored and wanting change, the Third Estate made a bold move. On June 17, 1789, they declared themselves the National Assembly, saying they represented the people of France. They wanted fairer representation and to fix social and economic problems. 3 days later, on June 20, the National Assembly found their meeting place locked. They gathered in an indoor tennis court nearby and took the tennis court oath, promising not to stop meeting until they had written a new constitution for France. Things reached a breaking point on July 14, 1789, when very angry Parisians stormed the Bastille prison, a symbol of royal power. This act marked the start of the revolution. This event is now celebrated as Bastille Day. In 1791, the king and queen tried to escape France but were caught. This made people even more upset with them. The monarchy was abolished, and France became a republic, but the revolution turned violent. Radical groups like the Jacobins, led by Maximilien Robespierre, took control. During the Reign of Terror from 1793 to 1794, thousands were executed as the revolutionaries sought to eliminate enemies of the revolution. King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette were executed by guillotine because they were seen as enemies of the revolution. Across the English Channel, England watched the French Revolution with mixed feelings. After losing the American Revolutionary War, England knew how powerful revolutions could be. England's involvement in the French Revolution was complex, balancing fear of revolutionary ideas with strategic military actions. This period marked a time of intense rivalry and set the stage for England to become a dominant global power in the 19th century. The British government saw revolutionary France as a big threat to Europe and its own safety. In 1793, after King Louis XVI was executed, England joined other European countries to stop the spread of revolutionary ideas and bring back the French monarchy. This started the French Revolutionary Wars. The French Revolutionary Wars were a series of conflicts from 1792 to 1802, involving France and various European coalitions. The wars began in 1792 when revolutionary France declared war on Austria and Prussia. The French aimed to spread revolutionary ideas and defend their new republic against monarchies that wanted to crush the revolution. The wars spread across Europe, with France fighting against coalitions including Britain, Austria, Prussia, Russia, and others. These wars were marked by rapid movement, large battles, and significant changes in territorial control. Early battles saw mixed results, but France quickly reformed its army. The French achieved significant victories, like the Battle of Valmy in 1792, which boosted their morale and secured their revolution. England used its strong navy to block French ports, hurting France's trade and economy. These sea battles were crucial in stopping French military plans and protecting British interests around the world. By fighting France, England not only tried to stop the revolution but also wanted to avenge its loss in the American War. During this time, Britain expanded its influence, especially in India and the Caribbean, while France was busy with internal problems and wars in Europe. Rival colonial powers like Britain saw an opportunity to weaken France's influence in India and Africa. They pressured France's allies to break away, offering them protection and support in exchange for turning against France. In 1802, the Treaty of Amiens temporarily ended hostilities, marking a brief period of peace. However, the conflicts soon resumed with the Napoleonic Wars. The French Revolutionary Wars significantly altered European politics and set the stage for Napoleon's rise to power. Napoleon Bonaparte emerged as a key military leader, especially during the Italian campaign from 1796 to 1797. His successes expanded French territory and increased his popularity. The Bonaparte family was of Italian heritage and minor nobility, which allowed young Napoleon to attend military school in France. Napoleon's military education began at the age of 9. He excelled in his studies, particularly in mathematics and history, which helped him develop strategic thinking skills. He attended the École Militaire in Paris and graduated as a second lieutenant in the artillery. During the early years of the French Revolution, Napoleon quickly rose through the military ranks. His first major opportunity came in 1793, when he played a crucial role in the Siege of Toulon, a port city held by Royalist forces. His success at Toulon earned him a promotion to brigadier general at the age of 24. In 1796, Napoleon was given command of the French army in Italy. His Italian campaign was a series of stunning victories against Austrian and Piedmontese forces. Through brilliant tactics and swift maneuvers, he forced multiple Austrian armies to retreat and secured valuable territories for France. This campaign not only boosted his popularity but also filled the French treasury with spoils of war. By 1799, France was in political turmoil, with the government of the Directory struggling to maintain control. Napoleon, returning from a less successful campaign in Egypt, saw an opportunity to seize power. On November 9, 1799, he staged a coup d'état and established the consulate, effectively becoming the ruler of France. Napoleon initially ruled as first consul, implementing widespread reforms to stabilize France. He restructured the government, created the Napoleonic Code, a legal framework that influenced laws worldwide, and reformed the education system and economy. In 1804, Napoleon declared himself Emperor of the French, crowning himself in a grand ceremony at Notre Dame Cathedral. His reign as emperor marked the beginning of the Napoleonic Wars, a series of conflicts that pitted France against various European coalitions. Napoleon's military genius led to numerous victories, expanding the French Empire across Europe. He established the continental system, aiming to weaken Britain economically by prohibiting European trade with them. However, his ambitious campaigns, such as the disastrous invasion of Russia in 1812, eventually overstretched his resources. Defeated by a coalition of European powers, Napoleon was forced to abdicate in 1814 and was exiled to the island of Elba. He escaped in 1815 and briefly regained power during the 100 Days before being defeated at the Battle of Waterloo. He was then exiled to the remote island of St. Helena, where he died in 1821. Although the Treaty of Amiens temporarily ended hostilities in 1802, the Napoleonic Wars ensued as an extension of the French Revolution and continued till the end of Napoleon. Napoleon Bonaparte brought significant reforms and modernized France, but his relentless pursuit of power led to widespread conflict and devastation. The French Revolution changed France forever. It ended the monarchy and brought ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity that still influence the world today. The French Revolution had profound effects. It ended the feudal system and led to modern democratic ideals. The revolution inspired future movements for liberty and equality around the world.